Hello, I'm Danny Dyer. No, I'm not. I'm Bad Boy Blackwell, and this is my show. Today on the show, we're going across seas from Mighty Blighty to the America lands. Also, we're taking a step back in time to the 1800s and having a look at the Wild Wild West. In particular, we'll be focusing on law and order at the time, because back then it was a very dirty place. Now, to do this, I'll need the help of my special team. This is Young, the one who got hung. He'll be commenting on quite a lot. And this is Gil the Gunslinger, a very special member of the team. And this over here, this is Annie. She's a mile away in bed at the moment. Enjoy the show. Phew, that was a close one. You never guessed it, but I just tried to nab a load of cash off that train. I tell you, it's tough business nowadays, even tougher than me. Now that's saying something. Back in the day, things were slightly different. In fact, trains were not even secured like for one bit. First train robbery ever occurred in 1866 in the western town of Indiana. I'm coming from all, I tell you. It was carried out by the Reno brothers, who stole $13,000. As a result of this robbery, a huge amount of robberies throughout the 1880s and 90s were prevented, all but to the 20th century, when they just vanished basically. This was because nutters, like me, took action and started to beef up trains. Carriage doors were reinforced, and guards had a bit of sense knocked into them, when they were given better weapons to fend off criminals.
I tell you what, I'm bored stiff doing this undercover work. Nothing is happening. Anyway, at the moment I'm trying to record some sort of road robbery, but I'm having no luck. Similar to train robberies, this revolves around the prospect of money. However, robbing a stagecoach was much more common than trying to nab trains, because obviously it was easier. To prevent this sort of thing happening, it was a pretty simple solution. The rich, who were generally the people who owned stagecoaches, would hire armed guards to ride with them. They would usually ride in the front passenger seat with a shotgun, and this is why my favourite common phrase, riding shotgun, came from.
I'm just on my way to meet a farmer who will give us an inside look into this disgusting delinquency that is cattle rustling. Cows are used to be pretty easy things to steal because in the cattle drives there were heaps of them. So who's going to notice if a few go missing? However, I may make it sound petty, but in actual truth it's one of the biggest factors that led to the Johnson County War. Now, to stop the rustlers, cattle were branded with a trademark symbol. Therefore, their owners could identify their own cows and make sure they hadn't nicked Dave's cows from next door. So, Mr. McDonald, how do you feel about cattle rustling?
Absolutely vile. I'm losing my precious trade because of this. Them chuffing kids from the town, I bet it's them. I tell you, they were sniffing around my ranch last night looking for trouble. But me, being me, I scared the wits out of them.
So you've had cows stolen as well?
Of course, I have. Otherwise, I wouldn't be so mardy, would I?
They haven't just got lost on another part of the ranch. It is very big, Mr. McDonald.
No, well maybe. But yeah, they probably have done actually. I don't know.
Case closed. Quick, come closer, but be very quiet. Right now we're in a secret location that was given to us by a snitch. In about a minute, That horse right over there will be stolen by some rustlers. Now, horse rustling was a very similar crime to cattle rustling, however the penalties were much more hardcore. After all, horses were every man's best friend and lifeline in the 1800s. They were the only means of transport and were therefore essential for survival on the plains. As a result of this sentence was death. He would be hanged without a doubt. Moving on from this, it was typically the natives that carried out this crime, as they believed it allowed you to gain honour and status within the tribe. The law would truly attempt to find the native culprit, but generally they'd have run off into the sunset.
Flame jumping. Done. It is as simple as that. A quick explanation of the crime would be that someone has come over and nicked your land, and they might give it all the hippie stuff and say it's a free country, but it's not a free country. Manifest destiny. You see, it's a crime. To start claim jumping became common in the gold rush, when areas rich in gold already had mines on them were stolen by other greedy miners. Sadly, the nearest forces of law and order were a long way away, so nothing could be done except sticking some barbed wire down, which a very beautiful man will talk about next.
Hey fellas, guess what I just found? With my expert Sherlock Holmes eyesight and deduction skills, I can tell you that this fence has been cut. A bit ago, one of my team probably told you about claim jumping. Well, this crime of fence cutting was the next step up and also a prevention method. This is because in 1874, Joseph Glidden invented barbed wire. This was an effective and cheap solution to fencing, because on the plains there was not a single scrap of wood, never mind enough to build a massive fence. But of course, the daft lad didn't think this would happen, did he? Therefore, from the 1880s to 90s, fence cutting became quite common. But a lot of ranchers did this out of desperateness, because their land was at risk of being cut off from water. So what else could they do, except from cutting to the next door neighbours and put the dehydrated cows there? Right, before I start this, anyone's easily offended, take it out on Sean. Now, racial attacks became a big problem at two different points in time. The gold rush and the building of the railroad. In the aspect of the gold rush, there were a large influx of immigrants from all over the world. This resulted in them being taken advantage of. All taxes and shop products saw a sharp rise, you see. However, they were not being attacked, and therefore no charges were placed, as racism was not a crime in itself. Although within the railroad story, violence did take place. The gold rush does link in with this, because to start, a bunch of Irishmen were building the railroad, but they napped off to become gold diggers. As a result of this, the Chinese were brought over to help out, and they often became victims of attacks, as white Americans faced job competition from them. They were threatened and blackmailed quite harshly. Other specific stories of violence did take place throughout this stage, including 28 Chinese workers being brutally massacred by 150 white miners in Wyoming, 1855. Even in the army, it is said that a white soldier once killed a black soldier from the exact same barracks, simply because of his colour.
Well guys, we're near the end of the show now, but we've still got a little bit more fun in store for you. We're in a dirty little saloon now, just waiting for it to kick off between these two. But before that, let's talk shootings. Nowadays, people die from bullet wounds simply from blood loss. However, back then, the most common gunshot death came from lead poisoning as a result of the fact that bullets were made from lead. You may find it shocking, but between 1866 and 1900, 20,000 people died from it. That's 600 a year. Some say that such figures could be exaggerated. I think they're pretty good, to be honest. Most of these deaths occurred at night in cow towns. The most lawless place in America it turned out to be. In fact, a book naming all lawless characters was called The Cowtowns. Such names included John Wesley, Bill Hickok, and of course Billy the Kid. By the way, stay tuned for a new show next involving Billy the Kid. It's cracking. But before all that, let's sit back and enjoy the show.
You looking at me?
Might be.
Fancy a duel?
Why not?
Is Billy the Kid the mass murderer sane? So you think you're not insane?
I'm not insane.
And you are a mass murderer?
True.
But you killed Bob Orange and James Bear.
Yes, but I shouldn't have even been in jail.
Why?
Because Jim Carlyle, I did not kill him, the posse did.
Your opinion, but what about Sheriff Brady?
Well, he committed the murder on John Tunstall, so I had to kill him.
Well, we have them both here today, John Tunstall and Sheriff William Brady. Yeah.
Avenging, I didn't do anything.
Lies, lies, anything more lies?
Calm down, ladies.
Well, Tunstall's death was a conspiracy against me.
Is there any proof?
There is certainly proof.
Sir Tunstall, how did you die?
Well, I was on my farm just doing a normal day's work, when suddenly this posse, right, came out of nowhere and slaughtered me. It's unbelievable, and then I died.
I think it's time this problem got resolved.
I'm a ghost, look, I can't touch you. Huh?
And Gravy's waiting for you backstage.
Yay, Graham!
That was really good.
Claim jumping.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Yay, Graham!